PSA is a blood test. It's called prostate specific antigen.
Okay.
And we use that to screen men for prostate cancer. And it's a very common test. When you're on testosterone therapy, a lot of times
they test it
because if you have prostate cancer and being on testosterone therapy, it can cause that prostate cancer to evolve and grow more quickly.
Rapidly, right? It grows more rapidly.
I don't think it causes prostate cancer, but it can,
Interesting.
Put gas on a fire.
So you don't think, okay, this is actually big because that's a huge misconception that I've heard. People think taking testosterone causes prostate cancer.
Very controversial. I don't think it does.
Okay.
There's no studies that really correlate that, and it's hard because it's hard to do really high powered randomized studies to look at this.
Yeah.
But I think it's very safe. If you have a family history of prostate cancer, you're 2.5 times more likely to get it. And then if you start testosterone therapy, those patients that may want to watch a little more closely.
Sure.
But I'm totally pro T. Like even if you have prostate cancer and you get treated, why not I put them right back on testosterone, because I think that's a lifeline. We can talk about that later if you like. But
now I'd like to talk. It's a perfect transition. I'd like to talk about it. This is probably the biggest issue that we get questions on: steroid use and testosterone use. Like that's the two most common things that everyone out there asks us. So one thing, you mentioned something earlier, which is that 50% of men experience some form of ED in their life. My first question is that ED stemming from a hormonal imbalance or an anatomical deficiency?
Oh, it's a great question. It's different for everybody. There's many different causes of erectile dysfunction. And if I could teach you, one thing today.
Do it.
Is, everybody's different, and there's not a one size fit all. If you go online and type in erectile dysfunction, you're going to get people trying to sell you stuff all over the place. If you watch TV, you're going to see Camelback Medicine, this group out of Scottsdale that sells penile sound wave. But as a urologist, we kind of look.
We heard about that. Yeah, the dick stick.
The dick stick. Yeah. DJ Walton came in and he told us about that. It's like the wand that you use. Apparently, it's got a clinical use for muscle recovery, for like injury prevention.
Correct. And it does. There's some beautiful utility with that device, and I do use that in my office and offer it to men. But I like to look at the whole picture, and everybody walks in the door, they're a little different. For my younger patient that walks in the door, of course, all patients, we're going to do a full hormonal workup and look at testosterone. What we found is people who have low testosterone, we put them on testosterone, their sexual function gets better. A majority report mild but significant improvements in erectile function, sexual desire, intercourse satisfaction, orgasm, overall sexual satisfaction gets better when you're on testosterone. So if your levels are low, start testosterone. I mean, that's.
Do you think there is a age that is correct or incorrect to start this? If, for example, I have a person I know, he's 23 and he went in and he had a hormone count of testosterone in like the low 400s. And so his clinician was like, okay, look, you are 23 years old. This is a young age to be considering this option, but we can start TRT. Is there an age that you would and would not?
I'm going to take that patient. Let's strip it down. So if I have a 20-some-year-old, and I have 20-some-year-olds that come all the time, and their testosterone is low. Well, you got to do more of a workup than there's that. So I check what we call an LH, which is a substance secreted by the pituitary, and it goes to the testicle to get the Leydig cells, the cells in the testicle, to make testosterone. And so all patients, you just not only check a testosterone, I want to check an LH. And if that LH it should be high if they have low testosterone, because they're trying to get the testicle to make more testosterone. But let's say that LH is low, and that seems off. So then I check something called prolactin. And that's another substance made by the pituitary. And if that's high, twice as high as it should be, then some of these young guys may have a tumor in their brain. And you need to order an MRI of their pituitary to see if they have something called a prolactinoma. And I've caught that here in the East Valley multiple times.
Wow, that's horrifying.
It's a little more complex.
Is it as horrifying as it sounds? I mean, a tumor in your brain, that seems
that can be treated easily.
Okay.
But it can be secreting hormones and different peptides that are stimulating other hormones and channels. So for some 20-year-old with a hormonal imbalance, I really want to sit down and look at them and
work your way back.
Work my way back. Do a little ultrasound, look at their testicles, make sure their testicles are pure healthy. They don't have anything around their testicles like dilated veins or any issues.
This question just came to me, but does the size of your testicles impact the amount of semen you are producing?
again, like when you ejaculate, we call that semen, all that fluid that comes out. Most of that's not from the testicles.
I still mix it up, sperm and semen.
No, and it really does.
Does the size of your do the size of your testicles matter in any regard?
Yes and no. Yeah, I get a lot of guys that are on testosterone therapy, and they'll notice some shrinkage of their testicles because when you get in testosterone from injection or however you're taking it, your body's not gonna. It shuts down that pathway from the brain, from the pituitary to the testicle, and you won't make testosterone from your testicles, and then thus the testicles kind of shrink up.
Will you lose sperm count?
Yes, patients can become infertile.
Okay.
Being on testosterone, because what happens is you have two substances from the brain, LH and FSH. LH triggers the cells in the testicles that make testosterone. FSH triggers the testicles to make sperm. And being on testosterone replacement will shut down both of those pathways.